Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We are covering a couple of different things in today's weather forecast, including record warmth possible across especially the northern U.S. going through this week into next week, followed by what looks to be a significant storm system traversing the country from west to east as we go into early next week. This could bring some heavy snow, heavy rain, and severe weather, so we'll dive into the details in today's weather forecast. Before we do, though, if you are new to the channel and you like detailed weather breakdowns across North America throughout 2024 and accurate weather forecasts, this is the channel for you, so make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. It helps out more than you know. Also, be sure to press the like button down below. I would definitely appreciate it. So let's look at our current weather conditions across the lower 48 here in through the United States this morning. Primarily dry here east of the Rockies, and the reason being is high pressure is in firm control across these regions. A lot of sunshine today and some warmer temperatures as well. West of the Rockies, we have that atmospheric river moving in across the west coast, and in particular, California seeing some heavier moisture as well through today. But before we talk about that, let's look at our temperatures waking up this morning, and you can see colder to the north and east, but still milder further to the south. We're into the 40s here across Texas as we wake up this morning, and the coldest air mass in the lower 48 this morning is actually up here into the Northeast and New England. You can see in northern Maine, we're waking up to ambient temperatures into the negatives and negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit into northern portions of Maine this morning, and those wind chill values are definitely a lot colder than that. And then as we go into the afternoon, nice warm up there for Maine. We're still into the teens and 20s up there, so a nice warm up into the afternoons after starting below zero. But then look in the middle of the country here, across the Great Plains in particular, in the lower Mississippi Valley, widespread 60s, 70s, and our first 80s of the year very likely across West Texas into the Midland area, Lubbock, and Abilene, Texas as we go into this afternoon. So a great stretch of weather going in through today. And will it continue? The answer is yes, because as we go through the week, the rest of this week into the weekend, look at our above normal temperature anomalies across the middle of the country. A lot of these areas 5, 10, 15 degrees above the norm, and this could set some new records here across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Nebraska here as we go through later on this week. So let's take a peek at those temperatures and what they could look like mid to late week. So starting here tomorrow on Wednesday, the 21st of February, notice the 40 and 50 degree line moving further to the north, all the way to the international border here between Canada and the United States. 60s, 70s further to the south here across the deep south and the southern plains as we go through Wednesday afternoon. And then as we go into Thursday, not much of a change. Still seeing those very mild conditions across the country, and that extends even into Friday. The difference on Friday will be a backdoor cold front here moving from northeast to southwest into the upper Midwest here into northern Minnesota, the Northwoods of Wisconsin, and the UP of Michigan, and also down into portions there of southeastern Canada. That will lead to some cooler temperatures on Friday versus Wednesday and Thursday, but still across the southern U.S. still remaining well above normal for this time of year later on this week. Now let's talk about the atmospheric river that we continue to monitor as we go through the rest of the week here. There it is across Southern California and the Pacific Southwest this morning and through today. This is going to continue to pump in moisture from the eastern Pacific Ocean, and you can see that here in the form of some rain and snow showers here. Snow in the higher elevations, rain in the lower elevations, and this could be some heavy rain for places like Santa Barbara, also over here into Los Angeles and Long Beach. A lot of these areas could be seeing some very heavy rain through today, and as we go into Wednesday, some of this moisture continues to plumb into the portions of the west and also into the Rockies going into Wednesday. Thursday, we get a break. We finally see the atmospheric river relax across the west, a new storm system bringing some scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder across the Ohio Valley and the Mid-South as we go into Thursday. And then that could turn into a stronger system, a 993 millibar low, which is a stronger low that could bring in some cold air advection on the backside, bringing in some snow there from portions of Quebec and Ontario, Canada, and into interior New England on Friday. That will be an interior event. I think it's all rain across the I-95 corridor, Boston, Hartford, down to New York City and Philadelphia. A lot of those areas will remain all liquid precipitation with rain through the day on Friday. Here are your rainfall totals as we go through the weekend. This takes you through Sunday, the 25th of February. Notice a couple areas of concern here, especially back to the west across California and also the Ohio River Valley, seeing a decent helping of rainfall across southern Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia there into western Pennsylvania, down into Kentucky and Tennessee, even southern Illinois starting to see some of that as well. But looking out west at California, some very nice moisture out here, but we don't need a lot more moisture. We've already seen a lot of rainfall here in inches across this region. 1 to 3 inches more of rain will be likely across Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, Long Beach, even down towards San Diego as we go through your Sunday time frame. And this could lead to some flash flooding. The majority of this will be coming over the next 24 hours between now and that Wednesday morning commute. So if you live in Los Angeles, if you live into the Santa Barbara area, if you live into Long Beach, even San Diego, just be monitoring the threat for some flash flooding and mudslides with this system as it does move onshore through today. Then as we go here in towards the snowfall prospects, you can see few and far between. We have a little bit of light snow potential with that strengthening system across interior New England. It's really not going to be much, mainly on grassy surfaces as it has been so warm lately. And then out west, the Rockies here, nothing we can't handle. The higher elevations outside of, say, Salt Lake City, north and west of Denver there into southern portions of Wyoming, northwest Colorado, could see a few inches of snow there. The Cascades out here in toward portions of Washington State and Oregon could see a foot or two of snow. But outside of that, really not much. The Sierras getting a few more inches as we go through the weekend. Now, the big player will be early next week. We've been keeping an eye very closely on this weather pattern here that will be evolving Monday, Tuesday, and potentially extending into Wednesday next week. We have a very, very dynamic setup here. We have high pressure ridge across the eastern U.S. This typically brings drier weather and those well above normal temperatures, possibly record highs up here into the northeast and southeastern Canada. Looking to the west, across the Rockies, the Pacific Northwest, and Western Canada, look at this big bowling ball trough out here starting to move in across this region. Eventually, this will actually eject across the middle of the country and bring a more dynamic storm system, but not before some record warmth as we go into early next week. There are signs that some of these areas could be well into the 60s and 70s as we go into that time frame. And just looking at that, on Monday, look at the 60-degree line, folks. It goes all the way up here into the Midwest, 70s as far north as Kansas and Missouri, and 80s returning across Texas and parts of Oklahoma there. And look at the lows as we go into Monday night. This is next Monday night, and we're only cooling off into the 40s, the 50s, and even 60s down here across the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley, and that will be a higher springboard of which to start as we go into Tuesday. Those temperatures will be really skyrocketing into the 70s, this time further north into portions of Kansas, Missouri, even southern Illinois as we go into that Tuesday time frame. And look at the cold air on the backside. Very sharp gradient here to the north and west into the Dakotas with the teens and 20s and 30s for highs. A lot of those areas seeing some colder weather supportive of wintry weather. So what do we look like here with the jet stream? Very dynamic looking system here, and you can see that moving in. Strong jet stream across the southern U.S., typical of an El Nino pattern, but we are keeping an eye closely on the instability. Now, the dew point temperatures have a lot to do with the degree of instability, and you can see across the southern U.S., 50, 60 degree dew points moving up from the western Gulf of Mexico up into the southern, eventually into the central U.S. here. Those 50-degree dew points could be all the way up into eastern Kansas, Missouri, into southwestern Illinois as we go into Monday. As we go into Tuesday, that lifts even further north. We could see that into northern Illinois, Michigan, getting into northern Indiana there, into Ohio, those 50 and 60-degree dew points. Very rich moisture out there supporting that energy for thunderstorms. So we're going to look at two model runs because there's still a little of disagreement between the into here. And we want to give you both scenarios of how it could play out. So this is the European forecast model on Monday. See all the energy coming in out west. Heavy snows for the Rockies, heavier snows for southern Canada with a low up there. Going into Tuesday, we have some scattered showers moving across the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, back into the Midwest. Not that big of a deal. And then you can see some heavier snow with that trough starting to begin to eject across the Four Corners region and into the Central Plains on Tuesday. And then you can see that cold air rapidly on the backside here, mainly a heavy rain with an embedded severe weather event on Wednesday, Tuesday night into Wednesday, from the Ohio Valley down through the lower Missouri Valley. We'll continue to monitor that on this model. Then this turns into a big snowstorm here across southeastern Canada, blizzard-like conditions on this model for Ontario and western Quebec. Very heavy rain, potential severe setup for the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic down into the Southeast there as we go into Thursday. Now comparing that with the GFS model, you can see same thing, heavier snow across southern Canada with the low up there. Out west, heavier snow as well across the Rockies on Monday. Tuesday, a little bit different of a setup. This is more favorable for severe weather across the Ohio Valley and portions of the Missouri Valley because the GFS is stronger with a low pressure system further north and also a lot warmer. So that supports more severe weather, more heavy rain on Tuesday. The cold air doesn't come in as fast here on this model, hangs back across the Rockies on Tuesday, then catches up as we go into Wednesday, actually dropping some very heavy snow on this model across Wisconsin, eastern Iowa through Illinois, and even eastern Missouri here. The heavy rain and severe weather threat will be across the eastern Ohio Valley down into the southeast on this model on Wednesday. And then as we go into Thursday, a big old snowstorm there for southeastern Canada, more widespread snow for that region as we go into Thursday. So the differences are the placement of which the low pressure system will be, the strength of the low pressure system here, and also the speed of the cold air on the backside. Does it come in faster? Does it come in slower? It has a big difference between both of the models. But let's look at the rainfall prospects here. Looking at the European model, this does drop some very nice rainfall. Healthy amounts. We need the rain in the Ohio Valley, so this is some great news to look at here. This would be good, and you can see a lot of this, though, will be coming early on in the week. The GFS, very similar. Very heavy rain in the Ohio Valley, down into the lower Missouri Valley on this run. Now comparing that with the snowfall prospects here, European model, very light mainly across the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes, an inch here, an inch there. Very heavy snow there into southeastern Canada, favoring portions of Quebec on the European model. Then as you look over to the GFS, heavier snowfall track down here into Iowa, Wisconsin, and getting up there into southeastern portions of Canada. Very heavy snow track on here, more favoring Ontario. So there's the difference here in the models. The European model favoring Quebec with the heavy snow. The GFS American model is actually favoring more of Ontario. So we'll continue to watch this with disagreements and to get more congruency as we do go farther along through the week. And we will keep you updated right here on this channel. If you do like detailed weather breakdowns across North America throughout 2024, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We'll keep you covered with accurate weather forecasts right here on this channel. Also, be sure to press the like button down below. It helps out more than you know, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Tuesday out there.